Hi, welcome back to my channel. As you can see, I'm currently transitioning into my fall attire with this rust and mustard colored outfit, but I wanted to put you on a fall dessert. Now, what's more cozy than fall? Nothing, okay? So I baked these cupcakes yesterday actually, so what you're going to be seeing is what I filmed yesterday, but I baked them, my friend's coming over, and I wanted to do something fall themed. We're having dinner together, so I wanted a fall themed dessert, so I made some apple cinnamon cupcakes. Now I will list the ingredients as we're going on, but it is a apple cinnamon filled apple cinnamon cupcake with cream cheese cinnamon frosting. And I do not like cake because I do not like frosting. I don't like cupcakes, I don't like cake, but this cream cheese frosting, I could just drench myself in it. It is so delicious, and I'm terrible at baking, but I'm not gonna lie, I did my thing with this one. So keep watching along if you want a cozy fall dessert that will make your friends say, hey, can you make that again? Okay, so keep watching if you want the recipe for this delicious apple cinnamon cupcake dessert.
So first you're gonna start off your recipe by either grabbing one big apple or two smaller apples. I grabbed one big Honeycrisp apple. I think you can choose whatever apple that you like the best. I like Honeycrisp. And you want to peel it first, and then I just sliced it, cored it, whatever that's called, to get all the apple slices. So after I core the apple, I'm gonna cut it in a bunch of little slices. Once again, not the best cutter slicer upper you've ever met in your life, probably one of the worst. But I'm just gonna try to get these into little chunks. Now, I do have to say that when I cut these, they were all different sizes. They were not even. You see that I'm trying to do it evenly here, but you know, not very good. Anything that fell off the board, I mostly ate. So, I'm cutting all these up here. I tried to get even like chunks, but some were oblong, some were square. So I know that you probably can do this better than me. Just try to cut these up into little bitty pieces of apple. I don't know if I told you this, but I used Honeycrisp apples because those are my favorite type of apples. But you use whatever apples your heart desires. So once you have all your apples, you're going to put them into like a little simmer pot. As you can see here, none of my apples are the same size, which is a great problem, but I apparently was too lazy to try harder to get them the right size. Most of these are way too big. So don't make yours as big as mine. Let's start there. So into your pot of apples, you are going to add a tablespoon of butter. Put that in there. Yes, I have clean hands. Thank you very much. You are going to add a 1/4 cup of granulated sugar. And you're going to go and get some lemon juice and just add a little bit of lemon juice. I think I ended up adding 2 teaspoons. That's what I did, because that's a 1/2 teaspoon right there. So 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. Then you want to do a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. Sorry, I'm doing fractions in my head here. Then you're going to add a 1/2 teaspoon. I'm trying to show you here. A 1/2 teaspoon, I believe, of nutmeg. And then you're going to thicken it up with some cornstarch, and you can add that after you mix it all together. So here we're gonna start the cinnamon cupcakes dry, I think it's called dry batter or dry mix. And we're gonna start off with using 2 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour. Then we're gonna go ahead and put in 1 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. The thing that's hard about baking is everything has to be so exact or everything gets messed up. 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And whenever a recipe says to add salt, which most baking recipes do, I don't, because I think it actually tastes salty. I can always taste the salt. I must have supersonic taste buds. So the next one is a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and you're gonna mix that all together. Mix it really well. I'm using my grandma's antique real silver spoon, so you know I'm trying to get serious here in the kitchen, because if I'm bringing that spoon out, things are getting serious. So next you're going to get a second mixing bowl, and you are going to put a 1/2 cup of butter in there. It kept saying unsalted butter, but guess what? Did I buy unsalted butter? No, I did not. So we're just going straight from the butter tub and putting a 1/2 cup of butter, which would be my childhood dream because I used to love to just eat butter right out of the tub. And that's probably why I had high cholesterol. But anyways, now we're gonna put in 1 1/2 cups of, 1 1/2 cup or cups, it says cups here, but that sounds weird, of granulated sugar. And we're gonna mix that all together. I seriously need a new mixer. Actually, when I get a bigger kitchen, I'm definitely getting a KitchenAid. I never thought I would need one, but now that I'm a baking queen, a baking connoisseur, I'm gonna need a KitchenAid mixer. But this hand mixer is literally my mom's, probably from 100 years ago. So you wanna mix it until it's like really buttery, flaky, soft. Buttery, flaky crust. Now we are going to add in 1/4 cup of vegetable oil into our batter. And then we are going to add 2 eggs, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and 1 cup of buttermilk. I thought that was an interesting addition, the 1 cup of buttermilk. I've only ever used buttermilk to make ranch, but I just thought that was interesting. Okay, also now's a great time for you to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit because I didn't tell you to do that before. So we'll do it now. Then we're gonna mix a little bit of the dry batter in with the wet batter. I did like probably 1/4 of the dry batter to half of the dry batter into the wet batter at a time. Mixing, mixing, mixing. This did give me a hand cramp, which I wouldn't have a hand cramp if I had a KitchenAid. But before I have a KitchenAid, I should probably have a kitchen that's bigger than a dollhouse kitchen. So you'll see here, I was like, what the heck? Where's the buttermilk? So I'm running to get the buttermilk, which I have a very big complaint for the people at the Meyer brand carton factory. What kind of glue are you guys using on these things? Because the last several recipes I've made, including heavy whipping cream, buttermilk, things in one of these milk cartons, I cannot get it open. I open it up like I would a school milk and it gets stuck. I've had to poke every single carton with a knife to get it to even come out. So I don't know what you're doing to assemble your cartons, but stop it. Because it's making it hard for me to bake. It's hard for me to be the baker that I was called to be when I can't even open a carton of buttermilk. Okay? So we're going to keep mixing. If I had a folder spatula, I would be folding. Mixing the dry batter in with the wet batter. I think that's all the batter. So maybe I did half and half. We got it flying around the kitchen. I love that I have these black countertops because every single thing I spill on the countertop is visible. So that's really great. Remind me when I get my own house not to get these countertops. And then once I have this all mixed up, it looks like I'm going to put some thing in there. What am I going to put in there? Oh, a folding spoon. I don't know if this has well, obviously it has a real name. I don't know what it is, but I thought, hey, let me just scoop off all the sides. Whenever I was baking with my mom as a kid, she was like, make sure you get all this stuff off the sides. So then I'm going to get my handy dandy cupcake tin and I'm going to put my, what the heck are they called again? What is that called? Oh my God. Well, to me, it's going to be called a cupcake holder because I'm totally blanking. But my mom always told me to put 2 in the cupcake tins. So I'm putting 2 on there. And I was actually wanting really badly some fall ones with like little leaves. But alas, the market did not have any. So plain white it is. How boring. So what are they called? I really cannot figure it out. Oh my God. Someone call the memory care facility because it's time to book me a room. And you know what? I'm going to play a fun little game called, I'm not going to use Google to figure these out because I'm just going to upload this video to YouTube and I'm going to wait for someone to comment and tell me what the heck these are called again. I could easily Google it, but it'd be more fun to see if someone actually watches my video and tells me what they're called instead. Only the true fans will help me out. So thank you. So here I am filling the batter into the cupcake holders. What the heck? This is going to drive me mad all day, but I'm not going to Google it because I'm going to rely on my subscribers to help me. So you want to do 3/4 of the way full on the cupcake holders and the cupcake holders. I was able to make, I made like 3 or 2.5 cupcake tins full. So that's 3 times 4 is 12. 12 times 2 is 24. 24 plus 6 is about 30 cupcakes. Do you see how I did that math? Can you tell that I'm brilliant? So I baked the cupcakes. I think it took me about 20 minutes at 350 to bake the cupcakes, and I took turns. I would fill one cupcake tin, bake it, let it cool. empty it, put another one, bake it, let it cool. So I had a little rotation going. And here is where I hollowed out all the cupcakes in the middle so that I could add the apple filling. And this was my favorite part because I ate all the middles. That's the best part of the cupcake to me, is the cupcake without frosting. Personally, everyone really liked the apple filling. I don't, strictly because texture. I don't like apple pies because I think the apples are slimy. I don't like this filling for the same exact reason, but if you love apple pie, then I'm sure that you'll love this. So I'm filling the middle of the cupcakes with the apple filling. If I had tinier pieces of apples in my apple filling, this would have made my life easier. But I screwed myself, and I have no one to blame but myself. So here I am, putting this all in there. If I had my dream cupcake, I would make these again, everything the same, no apple filling. But that's just my personal preference because I don't like apple pie. Thank you for understanding. Now, normally I would never say this because normally I think this is the worst part, but today it's the best part, and that's the frosting, because this frosting is delectable. All your friends are going to be like, please, will you make that frosting again? And he'll be like, fine. So in order to make this frosting, you need a half cup of butter. It keeps saying unsalted, but guess what? I use salted, so sorry about it. And 1 cup of cream cheese softened, 4 cups of powdered sugar. That is so much sugar, by the way. But every frosting recipe I found was 4 cups of powdered sugar, which seems absolutely ridiculous. But hey, I'm just a rule follower. 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract and a half to 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. So then once you have all that in here, mix it all together, wait for your cupcakes to cool, and then frost the heck out of those babies. So now is the best part. Once your cupcakes are all done and cooled, you can start frosting them. I have mine all in to-go containers because I'm giving them all away. I think out of this number of cupcakes that I had, around 30 cupcakes, I think I only ate maybe like 2 of them, and Jeff ate most, which is good. That's a compliment, because that means that my cupcakes were pretty good. And then I gave some to my friend Sarah for her to take home. And overall, this is my second batch that I made. The first I made with a buttercream frosting. I don't know why I did that. I know why I did that. That's what the recipe said. But it was not good. So then I made frosting that I would actually like, and it was so much better. So this is the one that you're seeing is the better recipe. So I know that I'm not putting these on there beautifully, but they taste good, and that's the important part. It was kind of messy, and my house was extremely hot, so that doesn't help the case for the frosting. I think next time I'll put the frosting in the fridge for a little bit before I ice the cupcakes, and that will create less of a mess, but we learn as we go, okay? So for all the fall lovers like me, you know there's nothing more cozy than apple cinnamon, and the end of August to me is transitioning to fall finally. So I hope that you enjoy these cupcakes, and I hope they bring you some joy. Please remember to like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below about what you thought.